tadpole to frog.
Mr. Ribbit, the science teacher, cleared his throat.
Ribbit, do you know how we became frogs?
He croaked. The young frogs looked at each other. Mr. Ribbit held up 2 pictures.
Today, we are going to learn about metamorphosis, Ribbit.
Meta what?
Asked Freddie.
Metamorphosis.
Mr. Ribbit repeated.
Ribbit, this means how we frogs change from this to this. In the spring, male frogs attract female frogs by singing. The frog couple starts their family in the pond, Ribbit. The male frog fertilizes the eggs in water. Ribbit. A few days later, the eggs begin to change.
Are those tadpoles?
Asked Hetty.
Ribbit, yes. At this stage, the head is big, and the tail is very long. Soon the eggs hatch, and the tadpoles come out. Tadpoles, like fish, use gills to breathe.
But, Mr. Ribbit, we aren't fish, are we?
Asked Lily.
Ribbit? Of course not. We are amphibians. Who knows what that means?
Amphibians can live on land and in water,
Answered Boris.
Right, Ribbit. But at first, tadpoles can only live in the water.
What do tadpoles eat?
Asked Freddie.
Ribbit? As soon as they are born, tadpoles eat plants and algae. A few days later, they develop teeth. Then, the tadpoles start to eat insects. Ribbit? Tadpoles use their tails to swim. They are very active at this age. Tadpoles swim around in a group called a school. 6 to 9 weeks after they are born, metamorphosis begins. Ribbit? The back legs begin to appear, and tadpoles use them for swimming. The body grows larger, and the head begins to take shape. Next, the front legs begin to grow.
That looks like my brother.
Laughed Hetty.
Ribbit? It looks just like a small frog, except for the long tail. The tadpole is almost a frog now. During the last days of metamorphosis, Ribbit, the tail slowly disappears into the body. Remember their gills, Ribbit? They don't need them anymore. The gills are covered over by the skin. So the little frogs learn to breathe with their lungs. Once the tail is gone, Ribbit, the little ones can climb onto land. Then the tadpole is completely transformed into a frog. In a few days, the new frogs can leave the pond. They can enjoy life both in the pond and on land from that time on. But we frogs have to return to the water to start our own families. Ribbit? Metamorphosis takes about 12 to 16 weeks. Ribbit?
Croaked Mr. Ribbit.
Wow, We are special in many ways,
Victor exclaimed.
It's interesting to know how we got here.
The young frog croaked.
We are proud to be frogs. Ribbit!
There are many different species of frogs and toads. Metamorphosis takes 12 to 16 weeks, depending on the species of frog or toad. Most frogs need water for reproduction. However, some frogs will only return to the water when it is time to breed. Other than that, they spend their lives on land.
Pluck woke up one morning earlier than usual. He could hear his friends outside singing.
Get out! Get out! It's a new day!
What should I do today?
He wondered.
I could pick worms, glide through the air, or clean my feathers. But none of that sounds like fun.
Pluck was not very excited about the new day. So, Pluck flew off to the riverbank to visit his friend Ducky.
Hi, Ducky.
Pluck called as he swooped down to the bank.
Well, hello, Pluck. What a nice surprise to see you. Do you have any exciting plans for today? I am bored and don't know what to do.
Ducky had to think hard.
You could fly with me up and down the river, or we could dig in the mud to cool off our feet.
He offered.
No, thanks. Well, if we have nothing to do, at least we can be bored together.
So Pluck and Ducky settled into the bank. They watched the flowers opening their faces to the sun. As soon as the flowers could see the sun, they bent their stems to get as close to the light as possible. They watched the fish jump at the bugs, trying to catch some lunch. The fish jumped high out of the water and made a lot of ripples when they fell back in. One fish splashed so much that he got Pluck and Ducky wet.
Hey! Hey!
While Pluck and Ducky were trying to shake off the water, they heard a little voice below them start to complain.
Please stop. You are soaking my home.
They looked closely at the ground and saw a long row of ants marching large piles of food into their hole. Sure enough, the water from their wings was getting the ground too wet.
Oops, we're sorry,
Ducky said, and they moved to the side.
Those ants are really strong,
said Pluck, sounding very impressed.
Their food is 5 times bigger than they are.
After the ants had left, Pluck and Ducky looked around. There was nothing left to see. Ducky lay down and stared at the sky.
That cloud looks like Big Farmer Parton,
said Ducky, sounding very sure of himself.
Yeah, I see him. And next to him is Dolly, his little girl,
said Pluck. As they lay there finding shapes in the clouds began to turn pink and purple. This made the pictures in the sky even more beautiful and helped their imaginations find new shapes in the clouds. Eventually, the pinkish-purple colors began to turn to dark blue. While Pluck and Ducky were watching the clouds, the sun had begun to set. The flowers began to close their petals. The fish stopped jumping. The ants shut the door to their hole for the night. Pluck and Ducky could no longer see the cloud shapes. Pluck stood up and looked at Ducky.
Oh no! Ducky, we've wasted the whole day. We didn't do anything important,
he said disappointedly.
We didn't waste the day. We did nothing,
said Ducky.
What?
asked Pluck, sounding confused.
We don't have to be busy working to have an important day. Watching everyone else go about their day helped us appreciate the world around us. I had a wonderful time, but I won't be able to do it again for a little while. Why not?
asked Pluck. He was starting to like the idea of doing nothing every day.
Because I have work to do tomorrow. Would you like to help? Sure.
Pluck agreed.
Good night, Ducky,
he said as he watched him waddle home.
See you tomorrow for a brand new adventure.
Ducky called back. Pluck flew home for a good night's sleep.
The Frog Prince. Once upon a time, there lived a king. He had a beautiful daughter. She liked to play with her golden ball by the pond near the forest. One day, the princess accidentally let the ball fall into the pond by mistake.
Oops! Oh no!
Splash! She tried to find her ball in the pond, but the water was too deep. The princess began to cry very loudly. An ugly frog sitting on a rock by the pond heard her.
Now what will I do? I have lost my golden ball forever.
What is the matter, Princess? Why are you crying?
I am crying because my golden ball fell into the pond.
Do not cry. I can help you.
How can this ugly frog help me?
What will you give me for finding your golden ball?
I will give you whatever you want, dear frog. I will give you my jewels. I will even give you the golden crown I am wearing.
I do not want your jewels or your crown, but promise me this. Let me sit by you and eat with you, and then you must kiss me too. Promise me. Then I will go down into the pond and get your ball.
Oh, if I must, yes. I promise you all that you wish. Now, please hurry. Oh, my golden ball! Thank you, Frog!
The princess was very happy. She picked up the ball and hurried away.
Wait! Take me with you! I cannot run as fast as you can!
But the princess pretended not to hear him. She ran back to her castle and closed the door.
The frog is talking nonsense. The forest is the right place for a frog. Life in the castle is not for him.
The next day, the frog hopped up to the castle door. The frog knocked on the door.
Oh, Princess! Princess! Open the door for me!
Oh no, it is the ugly frog! Make him go away!
The servant went to the door and told the frog to leave immediately. She slammed the door in the poor frog's face.
Princess! Princess! Open the door for me! Keep the promise you made to me. If you don't open the door, I will cry here day and night until you do. Open the door!
The king noticed that his daughter was frightened by something. "My child, what are you afraid of? Is there something scary outside?"
No, it is nothing. It is only a disgusting frog.
She then told her father how the frog had helped her. "Dear child, you must keep your promise to the frog. A promise is a promise. Go and let him in."
Lift me up beside you, Princess.
What? No, I don't want to.
Dear, a promise is a promise. You should not make a promise if you do not intend to keep it. The princess did not want to go near the frog, but she could not disobey her father.
Now, push your golden plate nearer to me. I am hungry and I want to eat together with you.
The frog enjoyed all of the food, but the princess could hardly eat because she did not want to be near the ugly frog.
Dear Princess, it is time for you to kiss me. If you do not, I will tell your father.
No!
The princess grabbed the frog and threw him against the wall.
Now you will be quiet, you ugly frog!
Oh! Oh! Oh!
The frog was very still.
Oh, is he dead? Oh my! What have I done?
The princess was frightened. She picked up the ugly frog very carefully, but the frog still did not move. The princess felt very sorry for him.
Oh, he just wanted to be my friend. What have I done to this poor frog?
And she kissed the frog as she cried. Suddenly, with a bright flash of light, the ugly frog turned into a handsome prince.
Oh, you broke the spell! A long time ago, a wicked witch turned me into an ugly frog, just because I did not like her. Only the kiss of a beautiful princess could save me. Thank you, dear princess.
The princess was overjoyed at the change. In no time at all, the prince and the princess fell in love and were married, and they lived happily ever after.
The Crocodile Bird Dental Clinic.
One beautiful day, Mrs. Kingfisher and Mrs. Ibis were sitting on a log. As they floated down the Nile River, the two birds were chatting away. "Have you caught any delicious fish?" asked Mrs. Kingfisher. "Well, I almost did several times," began Mrs. Ibis. Mrs. Ibis leaned closer to Mrs. Kingfisher. "But you know who is lurking in the waters," she whispered. You mean? Mrs. Kingfisher's eyes got big.
That's right, the Prince of the Swamp,
snapped the crocodile. Poor Mrs. Kingfisher and Mrs. Ibis nearly died of fright. All the animals were scared of the great big crocodile. The crocodile ate whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted. After finishing a big meal, the crocodile usually took a nap under the bushes. He was just about to doze off when...
Ouch!
The crocodile opened his eyes. Something was causing him pain.
Ha 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 ha! I'm the strongest beast on earth.
Laughed the crocodile.
Nothing can cause me pain.
He boasted. The crocodile was about to go back to sleep when...
Ouch! Ouch!
He cried out. The crocodile rubbed his jaw. The pain was coming from inside his mouth. The crocodile could not stand the pain any longer. He decided to go to the dental clinic.
Help! It hurts so much!
The crocodile roared. No one expected to see the crocodile at the dental clinic. It was the crocodile's first time going to a dental clinic. The dentist was a very old bird.
What seems to be the problem?
He asked in a slow, low voice.
My teeth hurt!
Moaned the crocodile.
Open your mouth and say, "Ah."
The dentist instructed. The crocodile opened his mouth as wide as he could and said,
Ah!
The dentist's head disappeared into the crocodile's mouth.
How long have you had this pain?
The dentist asked from inside. Answered the crocodile.
It looks pretty bad. I have to go in deeper.
The dentist said. Replied the crocodile.
Don't worry, I'll be careful.
Echoed the dentist. Suddenly there was a rumbling noise. It came from the crocodile's stomach. The crocodile was in so much pain that he forgot to have lunch. He felt very hungry.
Wait a minute!
He thought to himself.
There is a bird inside my mouth. I can eat him.
Almost finished.
The dentist suddenly shouted from inside. The crocodile was so busy thinking about food that he forgot about his pain.
How does it feel?
The dentist pulled his head out from the crocodile's mouth.
The pain's gone. It's gone.
The crocodile shouted with joy.
Unless you take care of your teeth, the pain will come back,
the dentist told him.
How can I take care of my teeth?
Asked the crocodile.
You can't do it by yourself. I must clean them for you,
said the dentist. The crocodile thought about his lunch again. Of course, the crocodile still eats whatever he wants, but he must go to the dentist for regular checkups. And he cannot eat the dentist, because if he does, who will take care of his teeth? The Nile crocodile is indeed the prince of the swamp. He will eat just about anything. But there is one bird that he won't eat. When the crocodile sees this bird, he comes out of the water and opens his mouth. Then the bird goes to work and cleans all 48 of the crocodile's teeth. That is how this bird got its nickname, the crocodile bird.
The Little Dutch Boy.
One day, a little boy called Hans was walking to a friend's house. The day was cold and blustery, but Hans wanted to take some hot cakes to his friend. Hans lived in Holland where many dikes held back the sea. The land was used for planting wheat for bread. The townspeople made brick walls around the town. These brick walls were called dikes. The dikes held back the sea and kept the fields from flooding. Hans was hurrying back from his friend's house when the weather became stormy. The wind whipped at his scarf and burned his cheeks. Suddenly, Hans saw a hole in the dike. He knew that such a hole was very bad, because it could become a bigger hole. Hans was afraid that the sea might flood the town. The wheat crops would die, and the townspeople would starve. Hans did not know what to do at first, so he ran to town to try and find help. He called out, but no one could hear him, because the wind was blowing so hard. He had to fix the problem on his own. Hans went back to the dike.
What can I do?
He thought.
Oh, what can I do? I am only one little boy.
Finally, he got an idea. He wrapped his scarf around his hand and pushed his fist into the hole. This stopped the water from coming through the dike.
I must be strong,
thought Hans.
I must be as brave as a man.
The stormy night went on and on. Hans was weary.
I am so tired, but I must hold back the sea.
Morning finally came, and the storm had passed. An old man discovered Hans with his hand still in the dike. He was shivering and almost dead from the cold. Hans had held back the sea all night. The town bricklayers came running to help fix the dike. They quickly sealed the hole, and Hans was saved. Hans was bundled up in warm clothes. He was very tired, but he was smiling in the warm morning sun. The storm had passed, and his town was saved. His mother and all the townspeople were very proud of Hans. The next day, a bright winter morning, the town awarded Hans a medal for his actions. From that time on, Hans was known as the little Dutch boy with the big heart.